This is Pat Walker of Mission Winners doing a video recap of the major market index ETFs. I have to share this with you, and it's very important. A lot of people, they take a really narrow look at the markets. You don't look at everything in the world. It's not necessary, but it is important to look at the major industries. Doesn't it make sense? Just think about this. By so doing, you can quickly see themes that are developing or themes that are deteriorating, and that helps you make better investment decisions. You could find a stock in a group, any group, the coal mining group, and it's like, well, that looks pretty good. And then you look at 3 or 4 other stocks in the group, and they're all getting killed. No, birds of a feather flock together. Stay away. This is why we look at the ETFs. You can get a quick overview of strength or weakness in an industry, and it will help you make better decisions. So let's take it from the top. Here's the IBD 50 right here. This is the weekly on the left, daily on the right. Fell on heavy volume, rallied on less volume, decreasing, rallied here, starting to fall. It's above the 50-day. Perhaps it'll base and then start to lift. But is there any setup here right now? No. And this is the ETF of the leading stocks, okay? So, is it doing much right here? No, not really. That's talking, folks. Take that into consideration in your investing decisions. Next stock in the group. Gold. Gold miners. Look at this. It's been strong. Look at this. When the market got spanked, look at this going sideways. There's a shelf right here. Perhaps it'll take out these highs and lift. It's showing strength. Next stock on the list, the junior gold miners. Similar situation going across these tops, a little over $42 a share. You can see that. That's good. Now, am I saying it's going to go up? No, but I am saying when the market's getting killed, this is going sideways. It's exhibiting relative strength. Next stock on the list is gold. Gold is not as strong as the gold miners, but it's still hanging in there. Look at this. It's above the 50-day. It's above the 20-day, the rising 20-day. Continue on. Biotechnology is still hanging in there, but it is starting to fall a little bit. It's right down to the 20-day. Bearish engulfing bar on the weekly. Biotechnology. If you're going to buy biotechnology, always be careful. This is why the ETF can be appropriate. Instead of owning just one biotech stock, you own a basket of them. Something to consider. North American technology, hanging in there. Look at this. It's right at the 8-day. It's above the 20-day. It's a little bit above the 50-day. The 50-day is still falling, but it's exhibiting some strength. What's one negative? Fell on heavy volume here. Fell on a pickup in volume there. Something to consider. Next one, IJH, mid cap. Look at the weekly. This is why we look at weekly. This isn't so good, all right? Falling on increasing volume on the daily. Are you going to see this chart pattern in any book saying, this is what you look for, this is what you want? No, not really. So you move on. Oil services, another example. Look at the weekly. That's ugly. You're going to see this in any books saying, this is what you look for to buy, this is what they're after. Nah. Continue onward. QQQ, NASDAQ 100. Now look at how much stronger this is than a lot of the ETFs we just went through. 100 powerful companies on the NASDAQ. There's no real entry right now, but it has exhibited strength. Okay? Remember this. It's a little bit below the rising 8-day. It's above the rising, see this, 20-day. It's above the falling 50-day, but it's above or right at these key moving averages. That's there. Steel. Anything going on with this? Not really. I mean, it had a good day there, and then nothing. The weekly, you can say, oh, that's a green bar. Look at where it closed. It closed in the bottom third of its range on heavy volume. Met with selling pressure. That being said, could it form a handle and go across this line right here, these tops? Sure it could. Steel. SMH. Rallies up, reverses down. There's no real clean and simple setup here. And consider this. It's semiconductor. It's technology. Factor that into the equation. Perhaps it'll turn, but right now, there's nothing special with it. Spiders. Right above the rising 20-day, above the falling 50-day. Fell on a slight pickup in volume on Friday. Nothing really special here on the daily, and the weekly is not so good either, okay? But it does have a series of higher lows. It bears watching. I need to share this with you. A lot of people say, hey, there ain't nothing going to happen on this market. I My crystal ball's in the shop. Do you? I don't think anybody here knows the future, do you? I don't think so. If you're human, I know you don't. So we just get in line with what is. Solar, really nothing special there at this point in time. Continue on. Mid cap down to the rising 50-day. That's good. Ugly reversal bar in the weekly. Perhaps it'll go sideways and start to lift. We'll see what happens this week. I'll say this also. A lot of bad news out there. Oh man, it's the end of the world. Everything's bad. When things look really rotten, all of a sudden the market starts to move. We have to be prepared all the time. Never take your eyes off the ball. There you go. Here we go. IWM rallied up here and then reversed and faded in the bottom fifth of its range. Rallied up and fell. Perhaps, though, you can see these tops going across here, and you can see it here. Maybe it'll go sideways and start to lead. It'd be neat to see the Russell 2000 start to take off. Perhaps it will. Similar situation with TNA. Started to lift and really tailed off. You can see this got a high right here, falling back. Now here's a good study for you. Up on heavy volume, right here. Down on less volume, constructive. Oil, and that's a bad data point is what that is. Let's refresh this and see if it'll do it. I hope it does. There we go. We need to refresh that more. This thing had a split, I think, and I don't know if it's going to get fixed. There we go. Let's see. I don't think that looks so good. Does it to you? I hope not. It's missing one volume bar, but the price, I mean, it's oil. What does this tell you? You just stay away from oil. You don't need to overthink it. Let's move onward. Aerospace and defense. Kind of tailing up here a little. I think Boeing's part of that, okay? Had a decent pickup right here. Perhaps it'll go sideways and start to lift just below the fallen 50-day. Would you see this chart pattern in any books anywhere saying, this is the setup where big money is made? No. So, move on. Home builders showed a little bit of life, pulling back. Perhaps it'll base. It's above the 50-day. Perhaps it'll base and start to lift. Next one here. Materials. Select materials. Starting to show a little bit of life. And that's constructive, just for what it's worth. Next one here. Communication services. This is showing a little bit of life too. Is there anything to do with it at this point in time? No, not really, but perhaps there will be. Energy. A little bit. Overall, you really have to look to see things here. There's just not a lot, okay? Financials flopping around. I mean, this is an ugly tail bar here, folks. Runs up, gaps up, runs up, reverses and closes in the bottom fifth of its range on a pickup in volume. That's not good. Financials. You'd like to see some of these groups starting to improve. And eventually they will. Until then, just watch. Industrials, tail bar, really nothing special there. Maybe this week there will be. Technology, it's above the moving averages. Maybe it'll pull back, form a handle in here, and take off. And if it does, you'll be ready. Consumer staples, just going sideways. Nothing great. Utilities, nothing. Utilities, nothing. And that's a defensive sector. Healthcare, a little bit stronger. Look at this. Possibly related to COVID-19 developments as far as research and development in that area. Going sideways. Consumer discretionary, it's hanging in there, but again, there's no exciting setup there. Metals and mining starting to lift a little bit here, tailed off. Maybe it's going to form a handle and lift here. See this? You got maybe a couple with a high handle it could form. Something to bear watching, but at this point in time, it's not offering any specific setup. Retailing's coming back just a little bit above the 50-day on decent volume. Now consider this. Retailing coming back. What does that tell you? Who does retailing? Oh, I think it's called the consumer. The consumer? That would be good to see. That would be a plus. You start getting the consumer back, coming back, it shows, what does it tell us? The consumer has confidence. The consumer has confidence. are increasing confidence. So we'll watch and see. It'll tell us what to do. Software has actually made a decent march back. Many of the stocks that have really good numbers are in this sector. Another software coming back. IBD 50 starting to march back a little bit above the fallen 50-day. Fell on volume right here though. Maybe it'll go sideways and start to march. This is a proxy of, the leading IBD stocks. Gold going sideways right here. And we are back, are we not? Yeah, we're back to the top. And there we go. I thought we circled around. Anyway, team, one of the smartest things you can do is just take a look at the ETFs, the major sector ETFs, to frame things up. It's something we do. This is for everybody to help you. And I hope it does help you. Just frame some action up. Overall, what's the takeaway? Not a lot of really special things happening, but we're always ready. Always ready. And I hope this helps you, and I thank you.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.